Hey, I'm Scottie and I'm sketching in Procreate today, but if you don't have an iPad, you can still use pencil and paper as the process I'm using is the same. So step number 1, let's outline all the main shapes of the hair first. Next we'll sketch the eyebrows. Now let's lightly sketch the bottom of the nose, which is the same distance down from the brow as it is from the hairline to the brow. Now let's sketch the chin, which is the same distance down from the nose as the distance between the brow and the nose. Now continue to sketch around the jawline. Okay, we have the structure of the face. Let's outline the rest of the main shapes of the body, but really loosely. I find sketching the overall figure helpful before starting the details so that I can get the proportions all right. So I can see now that the hair on the left is actually too wide and it's covering too much of the shoulder. So I'll erase that. At this stage it's really helpful to look back at your whole sketch and make sure all the outlines are correct and if you need to adjust any of them. Okay, so start the eyes 2/3 up from between the nose and the brow. The width of each eye also matches the width of the nose. Now I like to sketch a light line between the dots of each eye and then sketch lightly 2 circles for each iris. Make sure these are identical as possible. Now sketch darker lines for the top of the eyelashes. It's important that the angle of the eyelashes covers the same amount of the iris on both eyes and has the same angle. Lightly sketch the other lines around the eye, including both on the top and bottom of the eyelids and on the nose, on the top of the nose, where the light changes from dark to light. Now let's work around these lines and define them a bit better. Make sure each side matches. I've often regretted rushing this part as the eyes are so important. Sketch in the outlines to the pupils, and then when they match in size, we'll shade them in. We'll add a highlight a bit later. Now we'll shade the iris lightly, making sure that the top half is slightly darker than the bottom half. Sketch short, dark lines for the bottom eyelashes. This helps define the bottom eyelid without using a big dark line. Now it's time to add the highlight on the top of the pupil. This makes the eye come really alive. For the mouth, we sketch the center line of the mouth about 2/3 up from the chin to the bottom of the nose. The width of the mouth is the same as the distance between the 2 pupils. Now lightly sketch the top lip and then the bottom lip. This is slightly darker here. Now darken the areas around the face to define the correct shape of the face. Now we're also going to define the eyebrows. I would recommend sketching the lines all at the same angle. Okay, now we're getting into some shading. We're using the same brush. Drop your opacity down to around 20% and then use the side of the pencil to shade above the eye. Next, shade the bottom eyelid. And then add some really light shading across the bridge of the nose as well as on each side of the nose. Now add shading to the bottom of the nose. The top lip is usually slightly darker and the bottom lip will need to add some highlights later. Now let's shade under the chin, which will make the face stand out a bit better. Okay, we finished the sketch, so well done. Now comes the time when I wanted to show you these really amazing watercolor brushes that I'd like to test. The details for these are linked in the description, but once again you can use these ideas with real watercolors. So first we'll select the main brush and then a color for the background. I'm going to paint the background in mostly one stroke without lifting the pen. Okay, so now use the wash brush to blend in different colors into this background. I'm using light colors for the top left side and darker colors for the bottom right hand side. I missed this bit when recording, but use the splatter brush to add white marks in the background. It looks really nice. Okay, there's probably lots of ways of doing this, but the way I was testing here was to use the flowing brush to paint the color of the skin. I'm focusing on the areas where I previously added shadow and on the cheeks as well. Okay, now I'm going to erase the pink from the eyes and paint the iris with a light blue to match the background. I also added a darker blue for the top half of the eye and then erased a bit from the highlight. Okay, switch back to the main brush and with a darker pink colour, paint around the eyes and under the nose and lips to make them stand out a bit more. Next, erase all the colour from the hair, and I'm using this opportunity to create thin wisps of hair that fall across the forehead. Using the main brush again and a light grey colour, I'm going to paint the hair where you can see shadows. Okay, now paint the clothing in black with the main brush, but with the opacity set to about 50%. And I'm going to use the wash brush again to blend in some of those colours and add a bit of interest. Now I've switched to the chalk brush, but you could use any other brush to paint streaks of hair that come down from over the clothes. And then blend the bottom of the clothing with the wash brush. Thanks so much for watching. If you got something out of it, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.